Through the Ravine. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Chicago Cubs. Cubs fans, this is for you. Talking about the Cubbies and their renaissance season so far in 2025. The Cubbies currently sporting a record of 40-26, the best record in the NL Central, leading that division by a pretty healthy 4 or so games. And the Cubbies, who saw this coming? Known for many years, the Cubs have try to go for it, try to be in contention, and try to come out of this retool that they kind of went through over the last few years. They were close a couple years ago, finally putting it together this year. There's a multitude of reasons, but the team has finally come together in a pretty nice way. Now, I believe the Cubbies are much more better equipped offensively than they are on the pitching end. Some may disagree. Some may say, well, the pitching is still pretty good, but let's get into it. So we'll talk about that offense of the Cubs and how they have got out to one of the best records in all of baseball and top 3 of the National League. The offense, and it's led by PCA. It's led by P. Armstrong, the phenom, coming over from the Mets in the, what trade was that the Javi Baez trade? My goodness. PCA comes over from the Javi Baez trade, and he is a superstar now for the Chicago Cubs, and he is going to be that superstar for the Cubs moving forward. We saw him come up last year, show sprinkles of what he could do, but certainly did not show anything close to what we're seeing this year, playing at, quite frankly, an MVP level. Like Corbin Carroll light, if you will, if you want to call him a light version of Corbin Carroll. But he's right up there at this point with the Corbin Carrolls of the world, and the way he plays, has a ton of speed, covers center field, has pop, does it all on the base paths. You name it. PCA has been an MVP type player for the Cubs, no doubt about that. Of course, the Cubbies made a splash in the offseason after the Cody Bellinger thing didn't work out in Chicago. They go after another big name outfielder in Kyle Tucker. They swing a trade for Kyle Tucker, and I've always been a big Kyle Tucker fan, and Kyle Tucker has fit in pretty nicely. Kyle Tucker's going to do what he got to do and just go about his business in Chicago, and he's done just that. And he's going to earn himself a nice contract this offseason, whether he re-signs with the Cubs or goes on to market. Kyle Tucker has really helped out the Chicago lineup and done something that Cody Bellinger couldn't provide. With all due respect to Cody Bellinger, obviously, Kyle Tucker, a much more dynamic player at this point in their careers. And so Kyle Tucker has boosted that offensive morale, and he plays a pretty good right field as well in Chicago. There's a ton of guys up and down this lineup. Nico Hoerner has really blossomed into a cornerstone, a kind of a core piece for the Cubs, drafted by the Cubbies, and has kind of really blossomed into becoming a really good everyday core player for the Cubs in the middle infield. Nico Hoerner has been that guy. And it's really been nice to see that Nico Hoerner kind of blossom into a full hitter. And his counterpart in the middle infield, Dansby Swanson. Dansby, a World Series champion coming over from Atlanta. I'm going to be honest, I don't have nothing bad to say about Dansby or baseball players in general, right? I'm not going to really call guys out necessarily. But Dansby, I think he does at times get a little bit overrated. He worth the contract that the Cubs gave him, nearly $200 million, 150 plus range or so for 7-ish years, I believe. I don't think he is. It's similar to the Willy Adames kind of deal with San Francisco, but I think Adames got even more money and way more overpaid. So Swanson, he's not going to be this MVP type player, but definitely is helping the young guys kind of grow into everyday players. Good on Carson Kelly. Maya, pretty good catcher himself. Good tandem there behind the dish. Catching not really any superstars on the mound for the Cubs. This is a rotation led by Jameson Taillon, Ben Brown, and Matthew Boyd. These are castaways, besides Ben Brown, who made his debut last season for the Cubs and has kind of blossomed into an everyday pitcher now for the Cubs. Been one of their best guys. 25 years of age, so he's still really young and has a chance to be something in his career. And Jameson Taillon, Matthew Boyd, castaways have had a pretty good, solid major league career at different teams over the years, but putting it together for the Cubs, and how long will this last? Can this be sustainable is the question. We've seen the Cubs get off to good starts in recent memory, and then they kind of tail off towards the dog days of summer, into the stretch run, into the pennant race in September, October. Can the Cubs keep this up with their pitching offense? Is it going to dry up? That's my question to all you people watching. Is the Cubs run sustainable? Are they in fact going to be one of the top 3 seeds in the National League hosting a playoff series? In the bullpen, I mean, it's really a mix of guys down in the bullpen. Palencia has kind of stepped up into that role. Daniel Palencia has kind of stepped up to be the closer. You see these bullpen relievers just come out of nowhere, and Palencia has become that guy now for the Cubs. Been really good this year. Drew Pomeranz returned with the Cubs. He's in that rotation in the bullpen. A mix of guys going to get done with the bullpen. Three-headed horse, I would say, with their rotation. Colin Ray's in there as well. Their rotation, not anything going to blow your mind, but maybe the Cubs do add at the deadline, especially on the pitching end. I believe they would be in the market for a pitcher, starting pitcher, that is. And like I said, their offense, plus 100 runs in run differential, the best in baseball. So they are putting up runs in bunches. Wrigley Field, certainly early in the season, playing up to some crazy standards. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Is the Cubs run going to be sustainable? Are we going to talk about the Cubs back in the postseason later on this year? But right now, certainly the Cubs are not to be taken lightly, and we'll see how far this does take them.